Hello, subscribers, and those of you who are yet to subscribe, you are welcome to the third day of May 2023. Yes, this is another interesting episode of the newspaper review here on TAP TV. My name is Cyril. I want you that I'm saying a big thank you to you for joining us. Please, if you're yet to subscribe to this channel and want to do so, and turn on your notification bell so you know when we come online and drop our new videos. Jennifer, one more, is the lady here with me to look at the papers with me for today. Jennifer, how do you do?
Fine, thank you,
yes,
sir.
You're welcome. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you very
and
much.
Together we shall be, looking at the papers today, discussing some of the headlines in the papers for today. We'll start first by looking at the Vanguard newspaper and headlines here in the Vanguard. This one says on page 5, "No regrets declaring Binani winner," says Adamawa Rec. "No regrets declaring Binani winner," says Adamawa Rec, on page 5 of the Vanguard. And on page 11 of the Vanguard, this one says Ekore Madu, temper justice with mercy. Reps, ECOWAS Parliament urge UK government. Ekore Madu, temper justice with mercy. Reps, ECOWAS Parliament urge UK government. That story is on page 11 of the Vanguard. On page 9 we have Sudan, second batch of Nigerian evacuees arrive Port Sudan. Second batch of Nigerian evacuees arrive Port Sudan. That story is on page 9. On page 8 we have NSIA launches 2 companies to deliver healthcare plan. NSIA launches 2 companies to deliver healthcare plan. Details of this headline is on page 8 of the Vanguard. On page 9 we have, despite NWC's intervention, APC insists on suspension of National Vice Chair Secretary. Despite NWC's intervention, APC insists on suspension of National Vice Chair Secretary. That story is on page 9. On page 26 now we have Abia Assembly boils as 2 speakers emerge. Abia Assembly boils as 2 speakers emerge. That story is on page 26 of the Vanguard. Over now to page 4, we have Buhari OK's partial exclusion of Finance Ministry from TSA. Buhari OK's partial exclusion of Finance Ministry from TSA. Okay, details of that headline is on page 4. And on page 20, we have Zenith Bank's shareholders approve 100.47 billion naira dividend. Zenith Bank's shareholders approved 100.47 billion naira dividend. Okay, that's on page 20 of the Vanguard. On page 8 we have World Press Freedom Day. NGE task incoming government on safety of journalists. World Press Freedom Day. NGE task incoming government on safety of journalists. That story is on page 8 of the Vanguard. And on page 26 of the Vanguard we have Osibanjo, symbol of national unity. Say Buhari, go on, governors and others. Okay, that's on page 26. And lastly, here in the Vanguard for today, we have on page 19. This one says CBN to audit e-payment system. CBN to audit e-payment system. Watch list 572 bank customers. CBN to audit e-payment system. Watch list 572 bank customers. That story is on page 19 of the Vanguard newspaper. That's the much you can take in the Vanguard for today. Jennifer, one more, please. I'd like to get your reaction on a particular headline here I find very interesting, and that's the one on page 9, which talks about the evacuees, Nigerian evacuees from Sudan. Second batch of Nigerian evacuees arrive Port Sudan. Please, how do you react to this headline?
It's a great one indeed, knowing that at least the first batch has left and they also arrived safely, though we had some hitches. We had one of the vehicles that caught fire, I think, as a result of overheating, and now the second batch has arrived. The best of the good news will be when we hear that these people are already in our country here in Nigeria, because being there, they're exposed to some dangers. We don't know what will happen. It's not your land. Just like Egypt has told Nigeria and giving them different kind of condition, this is what you need to do before you can take your people through our own border and all that. So our greatest happiness, when the happiness we increase and become very large, is when these people have arrived Nigeria. This is because the students have parents. You know, I cannot imagine how a parent will always turn on the television and hear that, my daughter, my son is still at the border for days. Or when a particular person turns on the television and say, I'm still expecting this person. So we're still beckoning on Nigeria, we're still beckoning on the Foreign Affairs Minister, Geoffrey Onyema, and we're still beckoning on the NIDCOM chairman, Nigeria's diaspora chairman, Abike Dabiri, to please hasten it up, hasten the people over there up. And we need, this time around, we are asking for a teamwork, because it seems that the people in charge of evacuating these people from Sudan are not actually doing a teamwork. Because if they were doing a teamwork, they wouldn't come out to tell us that it was this person that collected the money. NIDCOM will be blaming
Sounds like they are not
Nima. Yes, Nima will be blaming the Foreign Affairs Minister. And they don't even have a particular body that will say, this is what has happened in Sudan, and this is how we get our people back to Nigeria. So it seems like there's no team, and this thing is going a long way to affect Nigerians.
If I get you correctly, you're saying you have not been impressed with how Nigeria have handled the evacuation of 8 citizens over there in Sudan.
Sarah, let me return this question to you. Are you impressed?
Definitely
Are you
not,
happy
definitely not, definitely
from
not.
stories of the buses getting to Sudan to pick these people up, about 40
like
buses?
there was no proper planning.
There was no proper planning
On how to
Remember
evacuate them.
that we must have some people there in Sudan, in Egypt. That's why we have the embassies over there.
So does this in any way highlight how disorganized Nigeria as a country is
Yes,
at the moment?
yes. Nigeria as a country right now is very much disorganized. In this case, you shouldn't work as an individual. You should come together to work. If you had a team, you plan it. You say, okay, these people, you're in Egypt. These people, you're in Sudan. This is how many buses that are coming here. This is the day we want to move these people. But even boiling down to the president, if President Muhammad Buhari had given Egypt a call to say, my people will arrive Egypt so time because of the situation in Sudan, and this is what I want from you to my people. This is how I want you to receive them. Do you want to tell me that Egypt will not concur?
Exactly.
Because that means they didn't get such a call from the government of Nigeria. They just acted on their own.
Exactly.
And that is why, after spending about 3 days,
just expecting that, because they heard it's Nigerian citizens, so they should just let them in.
Yes, because they heard that every country is extracting foreigners from the country of Sudan, so when they get to their border, they should just pass.
But it doesn't work that way.
It doesn't work that way. That is why there should be a teamwork. Number one person that should have given Egypt a call was President Muhammad Buhari.
So you're saying Buhari didn't play his own part properly?
Yes, he didn't play his own part properly. When you ask them, Abike Dabiri will talk this other way, and they keep refuting claims that when the buses got there, some of the buses said they were actually not wanting to pick up Igbo people. No, I wouldn't go that way, because they said this particular thing is this particular trending story is a lie that are not certain. We're not certain about it, but you know that whatever comes out in this Nigeria, if you go deep down in it. Remember the situation where they said, we need your passport before, we need your state of origins before we can evacuate you. And that is a kind of thing that can happen in a typical Nigerian society. When Nigerians go outside, they will still play that particular
Jennifer,
style of life.
Since we are not definite, we are not sure yet on whether or not such questions were asked, let's not dwell on it, so that it doesn't look like we're trying to promote ethnic war or something.
Yes,
like
we are not trying to promote ethnic war. Yes, still on that, because...
But still, we can't take away the fact that Nigeria as a country, is a country filled with so much difference when it comes to culture. different cultures, so much cultural differences.
Yes, so much
Right?
cultural difference, and we'll still practice these things when we go out of Nigeria. The question
It's
here
really
is,
unfortunate
why is
that-
our own always having K-leg?
It's actually unfortunate that as Nigerians we have not been able to, look for a way to hide this thing of tribalism in us whenever we go, even outside of the country. It's actually still very, very obvious, and it's a shame.
Yes.
Actually, because first of all, before you became an Igbo person, before you became a Yoruba person, first you were a Nigerian.
You are a Nigerian.
So I think we should concentrate more on promoting unity
yes.
rather than discrimination, tribal
Yes.
discrimination, and all of
Yes.
that. So
Yes.
thank you so much, Jennifer, for your thoughts on that particular headline. Let's not dwell much on that because we still have other papers to look at. Okay, quickly now we'll look at the Daily Sun newspaper where we have some more interesting headlines. This one on page 14 says Adamawa suspended INEC rec in police net. Adamawa suspended INEC rec in police net. Questions. Detained over illegal announcement of APC candidate as winner of election. He went there voluntarily. Okay, details of this particular headline is on page 14 of Daily Sun. And over now to page 23, now we have, we must not give up on new Nigeria, says Usibanjo. We must not give up on new Nigeria, says Usibanjo on page 23 of the Daily Sun. And over now to page 25, we have, to page 28, I beg your pardon, we have NGE task incoming government on press freedom, safety of journalists. NGE task incoming government on press freedom, safety of journalists. That story is on page 28 of the Daily Sun newspaper. On page 2 now we have NSIA launches 2 companies to deliver healthcare expansion plan. NSIA launches 2 companies to deliver healthcare expansion plan. Okay, that's on page 2 of the Daily Sun. On page 13 and 6, we have reps, ECOWAS, right UK government, seek clemency for Madu wife. That's on page 13 and 6 of Daily Sun. On page 13, still on page 13, we have Neya Kalu, the Sun publisher, named amongst most powerful women in journalism. Neya Kalu, the Sun publisher, named among most powerful women in journalism. Okay, that story is on page 13. And lastly, in the Daily Sun for today, we have on page 28, this one says, Imo Monarch commends subjects for support. Imo Monarch commends subjects for support. That's on page 28 of the Daily Sun newspaper. All right, Jennifer, one more just before I move straight to the next paper. Now, let me hear your thoughts on this particular headline on page 14 in Daily Sun. It says Adamawa suspended INEC rec in police net. Question: detained over illegal announcement of APC candidate as winner of election.
Yes.
He went there voluntarily. Okay, this is on page 14 of Daily Sun. Please react to this, please.
You know, there are 2 ways to this thing. He said he went there voluntarily. The other one said he's been arrested. So we cannot actually tell, did he actually go with his 2 legs and say, here am I, see me, take me? Or did they meet him in his hiding place to arrest him? Yes, of course, Nigerian police have released that they've arrested him. But the man is saying,
After that, sorry to cut you. After that incident, he was declared wanted and all of that.
Yes.
So maybe he has sat down wherever he was to think and say, there's no point running, because the more I keep running, it won't change the fact that I'll become a wanted man for almost all my life. So I think it's best I just come out and face whatever consequences it is.
Yes, and that was the best thing. That is the best thing he should have done.
Why running?
Why running? Remember, he said he's not regretting declaring Binani the governor as at that day, as at the supplementary election. You are not regretting it. So why are you running? We're not here to blame anybody, but I can recall that the election that particular day was not yet over. The counting of vote was not yet over. About 10 local governments was still to be counted. And this man went ahead to declare the APC candidate the winner, and that is Senator Binani. And you're still making it look like
he was compromised. Right?
Yes, and you're still saying that neither Binani nor Finitri paid you any money. So when you know that your conscience is clear, why did you go into hiding?
Exactly.
Why didn't you bring out yourself? You know, this our country. Why didn't you bring out yourself to say, I didn't do anything wrong? I worked according to the Constitution.
How is it possible for him to say he didn't do anything?